Pete Carroll is out in Seattle as head coach. Arcan, you just said it. He's 72. He's actually older than Bill. He's been much more successful recently than Bill, but I don't want to overstate what he's done recently. He has 2 winning seasons out of his last 3. I'm sure it'll be framed that way. He made the playoffs 2 years ago. He's 25 and 27 the last 3 years. He got to the playoffs and lost. That's a good roster. Maybe they're a little bit stale, stagnant. As Arcan suggested, he could kick upstairs and remain with the organization or some sort of analyst role.
Others are suggesting that too, not just me.
No, I'm saying you were referencing the reports that are saying that. But he's not going to be the coach there. And I wonder if he wants to coach again. And as I'm talking this out, remember the video this year of him after a win and all the energy that he has and the life that he has? And he's like, woo! Like, we're going to do it again. We're going to go there and beat him again. Rah! Like Pete Carroll energy, like over the top, classic Pete. If he's tired of coaching and coaching has worn that man down, and he's older than Bill, but he doesn't act like it, he doesn't look like it. If coaching has worn that man down, how much do you think Bill has left as a coach?
So you make it sound like it's more Pete's decision.
Well, I'm sure it's going to be framed that way, that it's mutual, and I don't know. It's too early. I mean, the news came out 5 minutes ago. I don't know. But there were comments that we talked about in a break the other day that just caught my eye. I'm like, oh, Pete Carroll's being asked about his job security. It's from 2 days ago. Tom Pelissero on Sunday discussed that the Seahawks have contingency plans if Pete Carroll decided to, quote-unquote, walk away. He says, I don't intend to go anywhere else. I do plan on coming back, Carroll said, when asked if he plans to be the coach next season. At this point, I do.
That was 2 days ago. So.
Right, I said that. So he said, at this point, I do plan on coming back. So maybe it's being framed as him walking away. And again, just think of young, quote-unquote, energetic Pete Carroll, older than Bill, the man with all that exuberance, and he's worn out by coaching. And now you want Bill to keep grinding? Like, that's what I would apply it to.
I just think it goes to show, I think you kind of just hit on it, honestly. Like, you're in your 70s. At what point do you look at it and you go, I'm not giving the same dedication to this, or I just don't have the same enthusiasm and the same energy level for it as I did 5 years ago, definitely 10 years ago. And if it's Pete Carroll, like, I hope he's the one who got to make the call there. It seems weird that 48 hours ago he was saying that he intended to be back and something changed in 48 hours. Who knows? Maybe they sat down with him and we're going to remove even more power from him. Maybe he kicks upstairs. Like you said, it's all breaking news, but I think it's significant.
Okay, here's the latest from Seahawks owner Jody Allen. Is that the wife of the late Paul Allen? Or a child, I don't know. After thoughtful meetings and careful consideration for the best interest of the franchise, we have amicably agreed to part ways. Agreed with Pete Carroll that his role will evolve from head coach to remain with the organization as an advisor. Pete's the winningest coach in Seahawks history, brought the city its first Super Bowl, blah, 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 blah. His expertise in leadership and building championship culture will continue as an integral part of the organization moving forward. Pete will always be a beloved member of the Seahawks family. So he's not a coaching candidate.
You know what? Tough week for the Pacific Northwest and their football teams.
Fair. So why don't you, your first reaction to this, Mego, when you heard the Pete Carroll news was what about Bill?
Bill's out.
Well, you also said we won't be getting any news today. You don't.
Oh, that too. Yeah. I mean, it just doubles down that, like, okay, yeah, it's time for Bill. But it also makes me feel like I thought that today we would get an announcement from the Patriots. You can't announce Bill on the same day as Pete Carroll.
Okay, well, this
is Pete Carroll's time.
This is why it's dumb to wait. This is why it's dumb to wait and pick and choose. Oh, well, you can't do it on Black Monday. Okay, fine, I can't do it on Black Monday. Well, you can't do it Tuesday because the Titans fired Vrabel. Oh, okay, I guess I can't do it on Tuesday. Well, now you can't do it Wednesday. Pete Carroll's out. All right, so when can I do it? This is why it's dumb to wait. Don't wait. Something else might happen tomorrow, and now you're waiting. It's stupid.
Maybe they found out that Pete Carroll was going to get parted with today, and so they weren't going to announce it today. Maybe it'll come tomorrow.
I wouldn't be shocked if people in the league, ownership level, knew what was going on. Again, this is from 2 days ago. Tom Pelissero created ripples out in the Northwest. Not that I paid super close attention to it. I read the comments at the time. But I would imagine people kind of know how things are shaking out. So will that prolong the announcement? I wouldn't advise the Crafts to do that, but maybe. 617-779-7937. All I was going to say about Pete Carroll, and according to that statement from Seahawks ownership, he's going to remain with the organization. He's not another one of these coaching candidates. And not that he specifically would be a candidate here. They would never rehire him here, I don't think. But it would be another big name, like huge coach. And I'm just going to stand by what I said earlier. People are afraid to move on from Bill. And I get that. the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. I don't know you're ever going to have a coaching cycle with names like this again, if Pete Carroll were another one to throw on top of it. And I'm not Pete's biggest fan, but the man's won a Super Bowl and would be a big ticket head coaching hire.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that, the last 3 years, you're right, haven't been great, but 2 of those years were rebuilding from your big quarterback leaving, right? I mean, not the same, but a similar situation to what Belichick went through when Brady left. And 2 years of Geno Smith, both winning seasons. I mean, listen, I don't know that you look at that exactly the same as the Belichick post-Brady thing, but it definitely so far seems to have been handled much better, and as though there was much more urgency sort of attached to it. And I think that Pete Carroll is probably looking at this like, you know what, we got the Niners in this division. It's going to be really hard to get past them. And, at this point, we need to sort of start over, and maybe that's a good chance for me to step away if I'm ever going to, unless you want to undergo this whole rebuild, which I don't think Bill wants to do here either, by the way. And that's, another part of this is like, you're talking about the future of the franchise. You're talking about the direction of the organization. At some point, you have to put that cart, you have to put that foot forward, and they're not there yet.
So as you say that, I'm seeing in the Twitch chat, why can't the Patriots announce it today? Why not, Mego? Like, I'm seeing this in the Twitch chat actively because they're not going to announce Bill's departure or parting of ways, mutually agreed upon, whatever, on the same day that the Seahawks are doing that on the other coast. Why? Because they see it as a 25-year relationship with Bill, and they want to give him the honor of a whole
They're
nice
firing him, though.
parting. I know, but they don't want it to look that way.
I understand.
They don't want him to be another coach getting canned the same time that Pete Carroll is getting
but Black Monday was
kicked
3 days
upstairs.
ago. Like, now we're past that. You're not just like every other coach,
This is why I told you guys, don't wait. I told you guys this on Monday, before Black Monday. We were talking about this last week. I'm like, how many days should they wait? Arcan's like 2 or 3 would be perfect. You wanted a week. Don't wait. You don't know what other teams are going to do. Even if you're hearing things in league circles, you have no idea.
And now this is another going to be desirable vacancy. If you're actually going to have a good faith search for coaches or GMs, which we really haven't talked too much about, but if you're trying to go out and pluck a GM to really overhaul your team and as quick a rebuild as possible, there's a lot of other teams out there that are trying to do the same thing, and they're already on it.
Let's play this game quickly. Where would you rather coach, Seattle or New England?
Right now, Seattle.
Arcan?
Seattle, no question.
Seattle, clean sweep. That's a good roster. They need a quarterback. That's a good roster.
Bet you Mike Vrabel's looking over there.
So maybe Vrabel's there. Maybe Vrabel's looking at, who knows, the Raiders, the Chargers. I have no idea.
Bill Belichick, where would you rather coach?
Seattle.
Thank you.
Could we see Bill in Seattle?
Seattle.
Did you find it helpful to talk to
Seattle.
your players about this?
Seattle.
Concerns about
Seattle.
Well done, Ryan.
That's Bill answering where he's going.
That's Ryan thinking on his feet.
Seattle.
I can see Bill sailing around in the San Juan Islands
You
up
see
there.
this from Rap Sheet?
What?
Dan Quinn would quickly be considered a strong
Yes.
candidate to replace Pete Carroll.
Yes, so that's the D coordinator in Dallas, formerly the D coordinator in Seattle. So it seems like they have their ducks in a row.
Seattle.
617. Bill, one more time. Where would you rather coach? New England or
Seattle.
Seattle. Okay, that makes sense. We'll get to your phone calls here.
Seattle.
I want to get to a few other.
What if Bill gets really into grunge and he's wearing like flannel
Yep.
at every press
Cut
conference?
off flannels?
Sure, tied
He
around
wears
his waist.
the Kurt
Flannel tied around
Cobain
his
big
waist.
white sunglasses.
I like it. I could see it. I mean,
Throwing the fish.
yeah, I could see him
He
in
renounces Richie Sambora for Jerry Cantrell.
I was going to say he'd have to give up his Bon Jovi, affinity, but sure.